Social media has changed the way that we keep in touch with friends, get news, and interact with people all over the world. It has opened up new possibilities for us, but can also be very addictive. In this article, we consider the advantages and disadvantages of social media. Connectivity. Thanks to social media, it is now easier than ever before to stay in touch with family members and friends all over the world. Interestingly, this increased ability to keep in touch does not mean that people feel less lonely than before. Addictiveness. Possibly because it is always being updated by users, there is always something new to look at on social media. Experts believe this is the reason that it might be so addictive. The constant updates satisfy our brain's urge for entertainment, and it's easy to just keep scrolling for hours on end. Permanence. When we upload embarrassing photos of our friends, they normally see them once and we laugh about them. However, those photos stay online forever and could be seen by our friends' future bosses and colleagues. With these things in mind, we should try to enjoy the best that social media has to offer. But be wary of the dangers too. Remember that anything you upload can be seen by anyone at any time.
I think, first of all, somebody I know told me about it, probably in the summer holidays before I'd actually started or enrolled, and I hadn't really considered it before then. I thought, I wanted to do philosophy and I wanted to do psychology, but I hadn't thought about sociology yet. And someone said, I had a really good time doing sociology when I was at A-level. And I started thinking about it, and I just thought that sounded like a really good course, learning about how people work in society and how society works as kind of like an organism, and all of its individual parts, working together as a whole. I find them to be very enjoyable because my teacher, I find, has a very free way of teaching, in which she gives us the work, but she writes things up on the board, and there's a lot of discussion and there's a lot of talk between people, and I very much enjoy that in the sociology lessons, because I feel like there is something more of an easygoing atmosphere within the lessons, which I enjoy very much. I particularly enjoyed the beliefs in society topic. I really enjoyed learning about how different people have different beliefs and how it all fits together, and whether religion is dying as a whole or whether it continues on in some other form and so forth. So I very much enjoyed that about sociology, and I feel like it links to many other areas as well in that regard. Well, one of the most important things I find that sociology has taught me is in my everyday life, you see. When I go outside, when I see people interacting, I can link this, and I can think to myself, well, how does that actually link to sociology? How am I seeing certain patterns happening in society, and how does that then link to what I've learned in the classroom, you see? And I feel like that can be applied to anyone's life, and I feel like that's a very important thing that sociology can teach us is, well, where do I fit into that, that story of sociology, and what's going on in the grand in terms of society, and then what's going on in my life and how that impacts that, and I find that to be very important. I think that's something that everyone should have a little bit of an understanding of, is how their life impacts the whole, I found GCSE a bit more restricting, maybe slightly less challenging, but slightly more restrictive as to what you can say and what you can do. But in terms of A-level, it is more difficult, it is more challenging, but I feel like you have more freedom as a student and you can do more and so forth. So in that regard, I think it's a good step up, but it is more difficult. But the thing is, if you have passion and if you have love for your subject, then you will put the time in, I think. So it involves a passion, it involves a love for the subject, and if you have that and if you hold that, then I believe that you will be able to do well in it, yeah. Well, I'm planning to take a gap year next year, so I'm going to go and do some things, and I certainly do believe that it will impact the way that I see the world, and it will impact the way that I view new experiences that I have if I go travelling or if I go somewhere. It will impact, the way that I see patterns happening, and I very much enjoy that. I very much enjoy watching patterns and watching the way that people interact with one another and so forth. So I think it will have a great impact on that, and have a very great impact on the way I see things for a long time,